we have a new lawsuit between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and one of her tweeters. Now, last year, or actually 2 years ago, she did settle a lawsuit for blocking a critic on Twitter. So she blocked a Brooklyn assemblyman about a year or two ago, and she actually had to let them back on. There was a ruling that she had to let them back on. Well, now we got our favorite big booty Latina lover. We got Mr. Alex Stein. And in case you guys haven't seen the video, this is what he is.
See, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Look at that. She's in the thing. My favorite. It's fantastic. So anyways, so this is what he was allegedly banned over, that video itself, right? And so he was blocked and he's now suing AOC. Now remember, who also got sued over blocking people?
Trump.
Do you remember?
Trump.
Papa T, baby. And Trump ended up losing that lawsuit originally. Now, it was vacated after he left his office as president. So when he's no longer president, he no longer had a public duty, no longer had a public office. Therefore, the transparency requirements. In Florida, we got the sunshine laws. You're a Floridian. I grew up in Florida, lived in Florida a long time. Our sunshine laws in Florida are, by the way, the strongest, which is why we have Florida man stories, if you don't know. Because all of our criminal records are completely public, unlike other states. So that's why the Florida man exists.
And and I do think it's a good rule to have politicians that work for the people that they should not be allowed to block them on social media. 100%. I back that from a political standpoint. Hey, politicians work for us. You work for us, motherfuckers. And so I just think it's funny that they weaponize this against Trump, because they had no problem when it was Trump but now suddenly those that preach the loudest have the most to hide. So
yep. And let me ask you this question though, because here's the leftist defense. So I read their defense against this, because they're going to use this in court, and they're going to say, okay, two things. Number one, Alex Stein is not in AOC's district, right? Alex Stein is over in Texas. He's not in New York. So does AOC have a duty as a politician to somebody she doesn't represent? Does she have a duty to talk to them? Because in her previous lawsuit, the person was in her district. They were in Brooklyn. They were within her coverage, her district. So it was, check mark. That's the representative. You need to be able to speak to your representative. That's number one. Number two is that with the Brooklyn assemblyman, she blocked him over what he tweeted. Here, she's blocking him over what he did in person. So do you think those distinctions make a difference?
I think that they could. And I mean, look, I love Alex Stein. He obviously brings a lot of, he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? I love him. That's my boy. After he did the whole Portnoy stunt, he called me and I told him the only thing I was upset about is you weren't wearing a Geeks and Gamers hat. So I love this guy.
And the Crenshaw one, did you see the Crenshaw one?
Oh, yes, I did. Holy crap. We talked to him.
Man.
Like, every time Alex pulls one of these off, he usually calls me Orion. It's so funny. But I mean, yeah, I do think that, if I'm being honest, like, I hate AOC. I can't stand her. I think she's trash. But I do think that there's probably, and again, as a complete normie when it comes to the law, you're the expert here. But like, I think that there's probably some justifications that her legal team can probably justify her doing this because of the personal stuff of him going up there and taunting her or harassing her is what the terms they're probably going to use. So I probably feel like there's probably some legalities that they can work in her favor. Is that sound about right to you?
So yeah, no, it's on the right track. Yeah, for sure. If they're able to prove, I think that this is the one way they could slip it in. If they can prove he committed a crime by doing that to AOC, that was some form of criminal activity, and he's convicted of that, then okay, I can see legally setting the precedent there. But otherwise, if it's not criminal behavior, if his behavior was not criminal, then I don't think that that's just free speech, right?
And I don't see any scenario where there's going to be any criminal activity or anything like that. So,
by the way, that would be a W for Alex Stein and an L for AOC if she wants to press criminal charges against him.
He's so good at it, dude. He's so good at this. And so that's good to know. So without that, they really don't have a leg to stand on, even with the physical, or not the physical, but the personal confrontation. Twitter
is just yelling in the town square, but online, right? That's my perception here. It's just shouting at somebody in the town square. They can choose to mute you, ignore you, wear headphones, keep walking, right? That's the whole thing, right? You know, you can just ignore somebody. Yeah, there's free speech, but I can ignore you. I can just keep going about my merry way. That's exactly what she could have done there. She had the option. Her aide tried to redirect her. She went in there and decided to give the peace up selfie because she's an attention-seeking, clout-chasing goblin. But that being said, no, I'm all over that. So yeah, I think we have the same take on that.
Nice.
Before we transition, let me catch this. Brandon, welcome back as a member. Appreciate you, buddy, and everything you do for the anime community. And then saying right here, Amigo, Isekai is life. Anime is great. Rylos are weird. F Naughty Dog. Love Star Wars. Duck Fisney. I had to be very careful. I'll say it, guys. I've worked on the other side of the table as those fuckers. Fuck Disney. I'll just straight up say that. They are cancer on everyone and everything. Orange Band 2024. Not even a question. Unbreaded. Packing a lot in there, Brandon, but I can't say I disagree with anything you've said there individually. All right, so obviously we got to Elon, but now I want to go over to, we've kind of handled the politics side of this. Now I want to kind of transition into pop culture. So, because how do you see the connection there? Like the direct link between pop culture, you know, particularly movies and media and politics, and then also in my realm, even the law. Right? Where do you see that? How do you see that?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we're not dealing with creatives anymore in the entertainment industry. We're dealing with activists. And that's who is working on most of these properties now in these projects, is that we've went from hiring talented, qualified people to hiring activists that fit the social justice checkmark boxes. And we see that with whether that's Lucasfilm, whether that's Marvel, a lot of these studios, they're more interested in diversity check marks than actually just giving good content. We're at a point in time where when Black Panther releases, that is marketed in a lot of ways, and it's I know they haven't literally said these words, but the perception is that this is the first movie that's ever had Black people in a comic book movie, you know, leading it. And it's like, anybody heard of Wesley Snipes? You know, anybody heard of, you know, Spawn? Anybody heard of Meteor Man? Anybody heard of Blank Man? No. And of course, to this day, Blade is still one of the greatest comic book films ever made, but it doesn't even get mentioned.
Blade is amazing.
Yes, it's amazing. So,
well, here's the problem. Wesley Snipes didn't agree with paying those taxes. That's the problem.
Yes. You know what? I don't get Wesley Snipes shouldn't have to pay anything after Passenger 57 and Blade. Fuck that. I'll pay his fucking taxes for him. He deserves it. He's a fucking legend.
Jeremy has made a covenant to play Wesley Snipes' taxes. Put it down in writing.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
He is now paying
Wesley deserves it
for the rest of life.
He deserves it.
On Geeks and Gamers payroll. He's
Passenger 57. He deserves it. Have you seen Pasture 57? Wait a minute. Hang on. I retract my previous statement. He did make Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, the trans movie with those other guys. So I got to take it back, Wesley.
No, you cannot take it back. We got promissory estoppel. We got a contract. We have a solid contract.
Stein.